Hello everyone, it's Cameron again, and today we're doing a sketchbook tour. I finally finished my 9th sketchbook. As you can see, I'm filming in my car again, and my car is very small, and neither of the tripods I have were gonna fit. So we get to do this whole handheld thing. Sorry, that was mean. So it's probably gonna be pretty shaky, and I apologize for that. But let's get into it. Yay! This is a sketchbook that my cousin sent me, which was very awesome, very slay, very nice. I started it on the 27th of February. I know month numbers, I really do. I don't have to sing a song in my head every time to remember. And I ended it May 10th. Nope. Yes? No. Is it May? What month is it? Yeah, May 10th. Okay. Anyway, moving on. If you want to see me talk about the cover, the inside cover, whatever, I have a video up about that. I'll put the thumbnail on screen, and there'll be playlists in the description of random art stuff. For the first page, I was really nervous. I haven't worked in a sketchbook this big. I think my second sketchbook was around this big, but it was spiral bound, and it felt different. This one felt a lot more intense. So I started with some writing up here saying that I was getting nervous because I usually don't get scared to do the first page, but I was definitely getting scared with this one. So then I just did like a random face, Slinky, my little guy, my spider Sona, and then my merman Geo, some random doodles. This is Bark, a character of mine, a little head shape little guy. He's just very shapy. This is Rex, my little cyborg dog. This is Arson Pog, a character that my cousin made me. He's very goofy. He's an arsonist. This is meant to be him running around with a can of fuel, but it does not. You know, we don't have to think about that one. This is the best doodle on this page, in my opinion. I like that one. I think it's very silly. Then I was messing around with hands. These are some hands from memory, and then these were some hands from reference. I just felt like practicing them. When I'm bored, I usually go for art studies because they're just easy, you know, you don't have to think as much. Well, I guess you're supposed to think more. I guess I mostly just draw from reference because you don't have to think as much. I don't know. Then I wanted to design a new Sona. Gonna move that because that's really loud. Thank you for leaving your can in here, Father. Yeah, I wanted to design a new Sona. I wanted a shapeshifter because I like characters that I can alter the design however much wow, did I forget how Take works? However much I want. So this is Sin. He's just a little guy, a little shapeshifter. Obviously, I already said that. You'll see a decent amount of doodles of him at first. I haven't drawn him as much recently, because I haven't felt like it. I think I draw him towards the end of the sketchbook though, once I start getting upset that I'm still working on this sketchbook. 3 months is a really long time for me. I usually finish sketchbooks in a month. 2 months is like the max I feel like I've taken on a sketchbook so far, but this one's just so big that it took forever. Then I was working on 10, my other cyborg dog that's in the same universe as Rex. I was trying to figure out how to draw him because I wanted to make his rep sheet for artfight. Speaking of, my artfight will be in the description if you want to attack me. I've been doing all my artfight prep recently and it's a lot of work. It never ends. Yeah, but this is 10. I decided that this was too round for his personality. He's meant to be the more stable, straightforward character. And this made him look too bubbly, so then I did this one. I was like, this is perfect, awesome. I literally took this, took a photo, threw it in my art app, lined it, and then did everything else around it, because I was like, this is perfect. This is Pip, the other character from that universe. She's a little alien. I was trying to figure out how to draw her, but I accidentally made her look older than she is here, so then I just did like a doodle of her older, because as their species get older, they start to grow horns, which will be a little bit more, I think they'll be like ram horns. I haven't decided. They get some extra eyes because they're prey animals. They don't have the eyes when they're first born because they need to have as little differentiation in their color as possible because they hide on their mother's backs or underneath them. I haven't decided, and so it's just better if there's less color going on, you know, you get it. And then they get longer tails and eventually all this fluff goes away to help deal with flies. I'm just thinking about how I want their species to work. I don't know, it probably sounds very silly. I don't know a whole lot about any of that. This is when I was doing my 3K subscriber special. I'll put that thumbnail on screen. I'll try to remember to put the link in the description. We'll see if I remember to do that. This is King Slinky again, and then I did some like actual foxes. I think I love the trope like in anime where you have a character who, like in Black Butler, if anybody's seen that, there's that one guy who's like kind of a chibi little guy most of the time, and then like once every like just like very rarely, just once very rarely, you know, every once in a while, he'll just turn into like a normal dude and be like really wise and say some really important things and then deflate back to being a chibi. That, but he does this to be unassuming and non-threatening, so people don't realize that he's actually very terrifying, is my goal. I did not explain that well, but I did my best. I bought some stuff at the dollar store. Up here it says that I bought stuff at the dollar store because I had a really bad morning. I don't remember what happened this morning. Nice thing about not remembering anything is I don't usually remember terrible things. So, winning. I got a little alien pen and like a little Spider-Man pen that was one of those ones that is, I guess 6 colors? 7 maybe? I don't know. And then a shitty blue pen, which is like my favorite kind of pen. I love shitty blue pens. I did some circles because I obviously wasn't feeling that well that day. I just wanted to fill space. These are doodles of my character Aaron that I got from somebody on Unveil, from Gone Batty, I think. I did not like how these doodles came out, so I moved on. I did this in a separate little notebook, just like a mini comic. I don't do comics, so it's not good, and I was doing it in pen. I didn't do a sketch or think out what I was doing, so just don't think about that. But it's just 10 staring with a little ... on a screen, and he's saying, "You can't be serious," with Rex presenting Pip. Because I think that Rex and 10 have been friends for a long time. They usually travel together, and then Rex finds Pip, and he's like, "But she's all alone, you gotta help out, man." And then 10 is just like, and then my one of my dogs got slobber on it from, or like, I was showing my grandmother this sketchbook, and one of my dogs was like, hey, you want to play ball, don't you? And then threw their slobbery ball all over. So now there's little streaks. Add some personality. An accidental chibi that I did of Pip. Look at how cute. Pip is so little. My audio is probably going to really suck. I'm so sorry. I'm like, oh, and then I smacked my lips because I'm really nice. I'm right next to the phone. We'll see if I can fix it in post. Rex helping Pip look at a little bird in a tree, and then just this little, because I like to do this pose with all of my characters where they just beg up at the viewer. I think it's silly. I think it's cute. Some doodles of Sin, doing some doodles in a sketchbook. I guess I was just technically drawing myself. Our fridge died, and we didn't have a fridge for a while. I don't remember for how long. So I was, and also we're like poor. So I was really hungry. I was running out of groceries, and we didn't have any, like, the stuff that I did have that I like can usually rely on when we're running out of everything else. I didn't have, because the freezer broke and everything had to be thrown away. So I was hungry, and I drew myself being hungry. I wanted to draw like a little wagging tail thing, and then I was like, meh. And then I did this one of him being upside down, which I think is really silly. I like this one a lot. And then just like sleepy. I was tired. I was hungry. I wanted to do some extra little lore things. I want to make, Sin is overpowered just because, like, I can, you know? Like, I don't know, maybe I just want to have an overpowered character. So he can pass through objects. Apparently, in my headcanon, he can also, when he's holding something, that can pass through as well, because clearly he's reaching through the wall to grab this. I don't know why this table is up so high, or maybe he's down so much lower. I don't know what's going on. I just know he's reaching through the wall for this cup, and I wasn't really thinking about any of that when I drew it. I decided that sometimes he can, like, you know, because he passes through objects, but it's because he can, like, enter more of, like, a ghostly thing, maybe? I don't know. I'm still thinking about that. I haven't decided. I accidentally used orange on this one, and I was unhappy about that. And then this is a bit, like, not a bit. I was trying to show that he could also, like, scare people or, like, you know, just poke through something. So I did like one of the Minecraft paintings and then tossed them on top. It doesn't read that way, but that's what it's supposed to be. some cartoon physics, so there's an anvil falling on his head and then like the cartoon bump on the head. I think it would be fun if he gets to have that, so he does. And then more cartoon physics, giant hammer in its pocket. Just swinging a giant hammer around as a treat, you know? Maybe I just want my Sona to have a giant hammer at all times. Why not? Then I was working on the other character that belongs with Sin. Sin made a pact with this demon. This demon needed that pact in order to try and find a way to restore his power back to the way it used to be, because the scar I end up changing this design. The scar is supposed to go through this, and something affects his power, something. He had to make a pact with a human to try and restore his power, something. So I don't know, I haven't fully decided. Then I drew 10 Pip and Rex together. Pip is hiding inside of 10's little like storage compartment here because it's raining, and so she's staying out of the rain. I don't know if she's like averse to rain or to like Earth's rain, or if it's radioactive rain because this is an apocalyptic, like a post-apocalyptic thing, or if it's just like, you know, she's just in there because they don't want her to get all wet. And then Rex is all nervous because he's like, oh, I'm worried about her, and 10 is just like, okay, shut up, she's fine. She's clearly fine. A terrible doodle of Rex, some more of Pip. When I did this first, I was like, it doesn't look good, so then I did this, I was like, wow, that looks worse, so then I left it at this and put this over here. And then these are just apple stickers. And then I dyed my hair, yippee! My hair had been like blonde, like an ugly blonde for a while at that point, because I didn't have the money for hair dye, so I was very excited. So then I drew Sin with the hair color roughly, because I was using Crayola colored pencils, and I suck at colored pencils. I get so lazy. But I like this doodle a lot. I think it's pretty cute. And then, oops, messing up the sketchbook. That's fine. And then I did a watercolor doodle of Cyanide, my Sona. I've redesigned him a little bit since this, but not much. Yeah, these are like the color swatches and everything. I had gotten some watercolor paper to try it out. This got all messed up because of where everything is over here. I didn't feel like doing anything cool on this page, so I just like, you know, the doodle and then like the color doodle, meh, I just didn't feel like it. Then we have some shitty slime skull doodles. I've done better slime skull doodles before, but apparently that day was not my day. I haven't drawn him since because I was embarrassed by these doodles, although that one up there is pretty silly. Some Miku doodles. I like this one. I think this one's fun. This one is goofy, but I like this one. Some more Sin, working on Eddie a little bit. The idea is that he's named Sin, he's named Eddie, and then there's supposed to be a creature that goes with them named Cat, and then all together you rearrange the letters a tiny bit, mostly just in Eddie's name, you get Syndicate, because I think it's funny. So I made him 2 inches taller than me because I wish I was taller, but like if I make him too much taller than me, then that's just a lot. You know, let's keep it a little realistic. Let's just pretend I'm 5'9". And then I was making mac and cheese. It was gross. That's why I did this doodle, because I was waiting for the mac and cheese to be done. But it ended up being really gross, so that was really sad. I did not like it. Then my mother bought me some new pens, which was awesome, because most of my pens were dying, and I didn't have the this blue, this red, or the black one. So that was super cool. That was awesome. And then I was working on Eddie again. What else did I do? Oh my gosh, I just got really distracted somehow. And then a little doodle of Sin doing a cartwheel or something. I don't know. He's generally energetic, messing with the idea that maybe his ears move around with emotion, because I love when characters with like elf-like ears do that. Let's see what else. I drew Laika the space dog. If you know, you know. The saddest thing ever. I don't recommend googling it, but I also like kind of do, because there's some really good poetry and stuff. A little 10 doodle, a blue doodle. I think I was doing these during one of our VCs in my Discord server. We do art voice chats sometimes. We're supposed to do them every Friday, but I don't make it every Friday. Sometimes there's other people that'll still make it to the VCs, but I don't make it every Friday. I just do it when I can. Some bark doodles. I don't know what any of these are. I was just like doodling, you know? I wasn't trying to do anything good. And then my tío came over with his wife, and we did wine and karaoke, which was very fun. So I drew me enjoying wine and then me singing a song from a book the musical. I didn't even I don't sing this song for karaoke. Like, this isn't the one that I sing. Usually I'll sing Ruthlessness, but that's a different song. Not usually. No. Pause. Rewind. Yeah. Ruthlessness is still a different song than this, I believe. Oh no, I haven't listened to Epic the Musical super recently. But I usually sing Just a Man more than anything, and I don't sing Ruthlessness every time, and I'm pretty sure these lyrics aren't from Ruthlessness anyway. It was just, you know, this is a pretty recognizable lyric from the musical, generally. Anyway, it doesn't even matter. Then I did a little doodle of Sin, and then realized that I should not have added the glasses, and then I put them below the nose, and I was like, why are they above? Question mark, cross it out below his nose. I think I had a single glass of wine and everything went to shit immediately. So that's good. That's awesome. I like this doodle. I think it's pretty cute. And then just like a silly little one, you know? And then my wrist started to hurt, or my right arm, I guess. I think it was like my entire forearm, but especially my wrist. I don't know why. I didn't do anything. So I did some left-handed doodles, 2 of them of Sin being like, what the hell? And then a little Rex. And then my wrist still hurt the next day, so I did some more left-handed doodles. I did some circles and stuff, and then I did some little environmental studies, which I don't know if it really counts as anything if I do it with my left hand, but it made me more willing, because if they look bad, I can blame it on the fact it was my left hand, you know? Like, nobody can judge me. I did it with my left hand. Yeah, and then I just generally felt unwell that day, but I was able to draw with my right arm again. I was messing around with the idea of Sin looking completely different before his pact with Eddie. A little doodle of Sin trying to get Eddie for whatever reason, Eddie holding him back effortlessly. I thought it was funny. Messing with Eddie's design, messing with Kat's design. I've gotten nowhere on Kat's design. Just absolutely nowhere. I don't think I can hold my phone like that. You can see my finger. Oh no. Embarrassing. Okay. I did a shitty little doodle of Bix. I don't care for that one much. I obviously didn't think this was going well, so I gave up on it. My sister did a drawing of one of her characters from her story Twisted Twins. I'll ask if she wants credit for this in the video, and I'll put her name on the screen if she does. So you'll see it if she does. And then I was messing with Eddie's design some more, decided he should have a little bit of facial paralysis on like where his scar is, because, you know, that scar is going straight through his eye. It only makes sense there'd be a little bit. And then struggling with Kat again. I don't even know what this is. Let's just ignore it. I'm not good at creature design. And I didn't want to do like I don't know. I have ideas and they're not working. I tried to do a study, didn't like how it was going, so I gave up. And then I was hungry again. I'm generally hungry because we're poor. I did some more Miku doodles. I think this one's cute. I like this one. This one is fine. I didn't finish it because I didn't care about it that much, but I actually think the hand came out pretty good, all things considered. But I like these two. I think they're pretty silly. And then I did that Pinterest challenge that was going around where you refresh your Pinterest page, and then the first one you see, you draw that. And then you refresh your Pinterest page, the first one you see, you draw that. So I mostly got memes at first, which I was not expecting. So I got that like artist meme thing where it's like artists draw your OC, or like draw your Jesus Christ, I can't speak today, I'm so sorry. Draw the real you holding your Sona. That's what it was. And this doesn't really look like me, honestly, if we're being realistic, but who cares? I don't. I was just doing a little art challenge and having fun, okay? And then I got that one where it's artists draw one of your most recent character design and your oldest character design in that meme that's like about to get a haircut, wish me luck, and then his hair is completely fucked up. So I did my Spider Sona, and then one of the earliest iterations of my Spider Sona. because I thought it was funny that he's got all this hair now, and that one was bald. It doesn't come across super well, but I thought it was funny. These were me making sure that my ideas for these things were gonna work. This was a random thing that I got, just like a random reference image. This was food that I hate drawing. I hate drawing food. I never do it, but it came out better than expected, mostly because I don't draw food, so to me this looks pretty good, because I don't know what pretty good actually looks like. And then Laika the Space Dog, patron saint of one-way trips. Oh, Laika, I'm so sorry. Some more little, like, color swatches and stuff. I said I wish Crayola markers had names on the tubes. The next day I realized the word I was looking for was barrels, and I just couldn't remember. And then I realized, like, a while later that they do have numbers, which isn't the same, but, you know, I'm pretty sure they have numbers. And then you'll see what these were about on the next page. And then I did a drawing of my Sona Cyanide out of Crayola markers. I think there's a little bit of colored pencil in there. Mostly Crayola markers. For funsies, you know, sometimes you just want to do like a full page, you know, of something. I don't know. It was fun. These were some characters of my Non-Humans Anonymous cast, my main OC story that I, you know, never actually properly work on, and instead I just redraw them / redesign them over and over and over again. So this is Bix and Levi, which is why I had those little faces, oops, right there. Because I didn't like this face, but I didn't like the other faces more, so I just left it. And it's Bix telling Levi that he told him to go to the nurse, because it's very Levi core to not go get help when he's sick. You know, it's a classic trope, and I'm allowed to like a trope. This is Mac and Riley. Riley would definitely be the one to give anybody who wants her to the haircuts and help with, you know, just hair in general. So it's her cutting Mac's hair and saying, "What do you think, hon?" And it's him saying, "It's perfect, thank you." You know, you get it. This is Logan, Casey, Castiel, you know, he's got a nickname. Wow, what a genius sentence. Logan, Castiel, K. Jesus Christ. Why am I filming this right now? It's Logan going, "Still hasn't noticed, huh?" And Castiel goes, "Nope." And then Cade goes, "I can tell, and I don't experience romantic attraction," because Mac is a himbo, he's a dumbass, and Castiel is flirting with him from the moment they meet, and Mac doesn't realize that at all, because it's another trope that I love, and I'm allowed to love a trope. I was waiting for my father at the gym, because usually when we go to the gym, I'll do something silly and small, because I'm ill all the time. Yippee! Chronic pain! Yippee! And then he'll be there for 2 hours, because he's a gym rat. So then I'll, like, read webtoons or draw or something in the car. I could drive home and come back. I've done that before, but, like, I could also just sit and wait in the car and not have to drive. And then I was thumbnailing a YouTube short, which I'm pretty sure I made. Did I make that? No, I don't think I finished it. I think, like, I feel like I pretty much finished the art and never uploaded it. Anyway, and then this is Spider-Man at the bottom, because there's a bunch of awkward empty space to fill. The beginnings of the plastic, this is gonna start to get a little annoying. I did this little environment thing straight from memory, which was dope. I don't know, I like came up with it just like on my own. I was pretty proud of myself. It looks like a building. I mean, that's pretty, it looks like a building. I'll take that because I suck at that. A random doodle I did in a different notebook, another random doodle I did in a different notebook, but this time a Slinky. I guess I might have been upset about something because I started with all these scribbling and then I had Sin just thinking about scribbles. I don't know. And then plastic because this is something that can smudge onto the next page, especially when I draw on the page below. So this is Sin again. I whitewashed him, so felt a little bit bad about that. It's not my fault most things don't come with good skin tones. Okay, that is not on me. I do not take any blame for that. And then I did some more doodles. These were all with gel pen, like the little gel pens. I don't know if you'll know what I'm talking about, but basically it took 5 hours to get it to look really clean. I don't know if you can see that, but like, you know, filled in all the way, like, it took a really freaking long time. There's such small headshots, it took so long. See, this shit took 5 hours. This is my little swatch page, because it's not just about getting all the color filled in. It's also about how often you have to go to a different piece of paper to get the color to start working again, or to get it to stop like overflowing too much. Oh my god, it's so annoying, but they look cool. I like the look you get when you use them, but it takes too freaking long. I haven't done it since, and I probably won't. We have some doodles of Bark, and we have some doodles of Dandy. I finally finished Dandy's reference sheet recently, so she's already up on my artfight. I'm probably just gonna do a full body of Bark. I have to simplify the rest of my ref sheets, man. I had like 19 that I needed to make this year, and I've cut a couple out, and I'm simplifying the rest. I don't got time. I want to make a video about artfight prep, and instead of drawing, I'm coding for my page. Like, come on. What the hell? I got some markers at a dollar store, because that's usually where I get markers, and so I did a little cyanide doodle, because that's always what I do when I get new markers. Like over here, when I got the pastel Crayola markers, like the pastel super tips, adore these. Where have these been my entire life? That's so dramatic, but I do really like these. These colors are very nice for me. So, you know, cheap art supplies, my beloved. I think that I wasn't doing well again. Don't remember why. So, winning, honestly. This was the first doodle I did assign. I was trying to figure out which of these colors work best for him. It was not these ones, and then I did this one, which was better. This is a terrible doodle of some weird creature thing. The anatomy is just... You know, this is why you start with the construction lines. The wings are fine, because I don't really know what wings look like, so they can look bad, and I'll be like, okay, cool. And then I had a really bad headache behind my eye, and I was really upset about it. So I drew Sin covering his face with a wing, because when I'm upset, I like to draw wings, and then I did like a little fucked up eye, because my eye hurt. And then, oh, we're skipping actually, but get hyped for that page. I'm gonna have so much to say about that page. This was a horse I did. The first pass was terribly ugly. The final pass, this one, isn't much better. I have a short up somewhere where I fixed it from where it was before, but trust me, it used to be so much worse, okay? So let's just be happy that we ended there. Random doodle of Sin. This is when I decided that Sin can walk on walls, because he can be overpowered. I can do whatever I want, you know? Let me have my fun. This was right before Passover. I don't celebrate Passover, but my family does, and so I had to deep clean my room so there was no bread products and all that, you know, because my grandmother lets me live in her house, and I'm not going to disrespect her house. So I didn't want to clean that day, though. Like, I really didn't want to clean, so I did this little... I actually love this doodle. I think it's so silly. A little doodle of me being dead, because I was really tired that day and I didn't want to clean. And then the mascot, the channel mascot, in a maid outfit, and then I am not accepting questions at this time, because I thought it was funny. This drawing actually came out much better than it possibly needed to. Because this entire page is much better than most of what I did in this sketchbook, and it's all a bit. It's all a shit post. Anyway, I found all this stuff while cleaning my room, so now we get to go through all of that. I hope you're excited to learn about all my little trinkets. So my guitar case does not fit my guitar. It's just, we bought the guitar at a pawn shop and they just gave us a case that doesn't fit. Whatever. But a while ago, I think it was in my first sketchbook, one of the little zipper, one of the zippers fell off. And then in my 9th sketchbook, the other one did. So now I have to open it, without these. I just have to you get it. Hopefully, I don't know. Anyway, so this was one of the zippers for my guitar case. This is a really old print for stickers I bought from Milky Tomato's shop. I might try and flip this in post so you can read it properly. I don't remember what stickers I bought. I think I got pins too, back when I was making my patch jacket that I don't wear anymore. But I always liked the print, so I never threw it away, but I never knew what to do with it, because it was before I was doing sketchbooks, and then I found it, so I put it in here. And then all the, Milky Tomato socials and everything, there's a QR code, all that. This is a doodle of my character that I made for Team Wither in 2022, because I like to make a character design based off the team. I think I took her off my art fight because nobody ever draws her, because her design kind of relied on a brush that I have that nobody else would necessarily have. So, and then this was a sticker that I got when I got the Milky Tomato stuff of a playlist from, you know, that month or something that Milky Tomato does, which is really cool. And then this, oh, I guess I did get buttons. This was another print that I got also from Milky Tomato. So I really like this print. Look at how cute it is. It's so good. I love Milky Tomato's shop. Yeah, I bought all that. I bought like pins and stickers and stuff on Etsy at some point a couple of years ago. And then this is something that fell off of a necklace that my aunt gifted me for my birthday or for Christmas. A little Capricorn necklace, because I'm a Capricorn. I don't know anything about astrology, but I know that I am a Capricorn sun. Am I a Taurus moon or a Virgo moon? And then Taurus or Virgo rising. Something like that. I don't know. All I know is that I'm supposedly really stubborn, but I'm the least stubborn person I know. Then there's a little skeleton guy that I drew, because I put in this little skeleton sticker that my mother sent me. A little tarot card. I have some tarot decks in my room. I like tarot. Yeah, so I drew a little skeleton to go with the other little skeleton. And then we have some of the office trivia. I only got one of them wrong, so let's go. I don't remember which one, but it's because I don't watch... After the 7th season, I think I only kept watching once, and I've never watched the last episode, because after Michael Scott leaves, it all goes to shit for me. I don't think anybody's gonna care. Anyway, this fell off of a choker that I had that I wore for a long time, but it was like a cheap fast fashion choker back when I would buy off of sites that I should not have been buying off of, and it fell apart, so, you know, as it was gonna, so I put that in here. This was a little Puerto Rico thing that was on a bracelet my grandmother gave me. It ended up falling off, so I put that in here as well. And then this was, my grandmother's dealing with some health concerns, so when she wants lemon water, I squeeze the lemons for her, and so I put the little lemon sticker in here. This was I bought my pop socket from this person. I'll see if I could put a photo on screen of my pop socket right here so you can see it, because I think it's really freaking cute. I love my case and my pop socket a lot. I got the case off of Etsy though, not from a good shop. I don't recommend getting the case, but the pop socket is really cute. I'll try to flip this in post too so people can read that properly. And then this is my character Elias. He's on my art fight if you're interested in seeing like his full art and everything. This doodle is very silly. It's not super good. Anyway, and then this in here is something that my cousin gave me for Valentine's Day one year that I've kept in my phone case for years, like many years. But it didn't fit in my current phone case, so I had to put it somewhere else. But it was like a little Valentine's Day thing, and there was a bunch of parts in it. And I remember that when they gave it to me, I could tell there was stuff in it, so I opened it really slowly, and they were like, no, you were supposed to do that, because they wanted the little hearts in there to go flying like confetti. So that's silly to me. And then I did some lyrics from a song we both like on here, because, you know, I put the thing they gave me in there. I thought that was what, I don't know, it was fun. I don't remember where this little star came from. Where did that come from? Oh, I think it was also a part of this same choker. I think it used to be like right here, and then this was attached to like a black choker. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what that was. And then I did some tiny little doodles on here, just so that it wouldn't look boring, since the lyrics didn't go all the way down. What song is this? I think it's Churches by, come on, I know it. No! I'm gonna put it on screen because I recommend this song. It's a good song. I like that song a lot. So you should go listen to it. This was me messing around with a pony Sona again. I don't watch My Little Pony. Really, it was one of my cousin's things more than mine. My thing was Johnny Test. But it looked like fun, and then I started drawing it, and I was like, oh, so this is actually way more difficult than I was giving it credit for, and then I stopped. And then a random doodle of cyanide. I did this doodle forgetting he's missing an eye and has a scar, so I had to go back like days later, scribble out this eye because he doesn't have this eye, and then days after that I was like, oh wait, he doesn't have a scar. I had to put that there. So really cool, remembering my own character's designs. I was gonna do a little drawing of grapes with colored pencils. I hate colored pencils, and my Crayola colored pencils are not good. So this was taking way too freaking long, and I gave up. And I wasn't even like using a reference, so it wasn't gonna look good anyway, so I gave up. A little doodle of Cade. I love this doodle of Cade. He looks so silly. I love him. Some doodles of Sin that looked really, really bad. Why are the eyes like, what is happening? Whatever. Moving on. I don't even want to think about it. Some video ideas that I had. Maybe I'll blur this. Nah, there's no reason to do that. Instead, I'm gonna say, if any of this looks interesting to you, you should let me know. I already did the 3-color challenge. I'm gonna put something up about colored pencils soon, probably next, maybe, and then other than that, I don't think that I've done the other ones. So yes, so if any of those look interesting to you, let me know. We have a Spider-Man doodle, because I default to Spider-Man when I don't know what to draw, a cyanide doodle, because I default to cyanide when I don't know what to draw, a random doodle of an elf girl that was supposed to be chewing gum, but I wasn't looking at a reference, and I fucked it up really bad, and it looks like a marble or something, I don't know, or like an eyeball, I don't know how I did that. But I think that she came out pretty cute, so I'm a little upset about it. This is my sister's clown fox that I drew really poorly, named Aravik, I believe. Hopefully I'm saying that right. You would think I would know how to say it, but whatever. I drew them because she had done a doodle, and I thought that she was trying to make the ear fluff look like stars, but she wasn't. And so then I was like, well, now I have to draw what I mean, and I drew the ear fluff looking like stars. So I did that, and then these 3 were the next day. I like how this one came out pretty decent. This one's so fucked up. It's so goofy. Little red panda, he looks so messed up. And then some random ram or sheep or something. Honestly, I don't really know the difference between sheep type animals. It sounded so stupid. This is when I got those Artex markers that I made a review about. If you're curious how I felt about them, then you can watch this video. I'll put the thumbnail on screen. I started with cyanide, as I always do when I get new markers. Then I did a little doodle of Dandy, because I love Dandy. I gave her, she's sticking her tongue out. I don't know if she can do that, but I decided she can for this doodle specifically. And then Bark. I wanted to give Bark like normal eyes, and there was a color I really liked, but that marker like broke, so I couldn't do that, so I just gave her like killer eyes, because I thought, you know, if he can't have the color that I want, then he might as well just look like a murderer. So, you know, but I think she's cute. And then we have a little bouncy thing. Somebody asked me how I did this in a different sketchbook, so I made like a really shitty tutorial on YouTube Shorts. If you guys want a video where I just like talk about ways that I do little interactive things in my sketchbook, you should let me know, because that sounds like fun actually. And then more of those. These stickers I got when I got my little pop socket. It was these stickers and a little sticker of a string on a worm. It was pretty cute, so I put these in here with Sin, who I accidentally whitewashed again. Sorry. Apparently I do that a lot. And then a little doodle of Eddie that I didn't like. And then my sister did this. She was trying to draw something that's in our kitchen. No, in our dining room. But she gave up. She didn't like how it was going. And I was forcing her to draw in my sketchbook because I wanted her to fill up space. So to be fair, I gave up on this doodle because it's going poorly. But I love this doodle where it's just Sin, like, they whitewashed me again. And Eddie's like, okay. Because I kept whitewashing him and I felt bad. So I drew him being upset about it. It also gave me an excuse to mess with Eddie's outfit. It didn't come out right. I don't think Eddie would wear that, but, you know, I like his tail, though. This was me messing with Alfonso, who's Logan's service dog. Whoops. This is a really shitty doodle of Logan. Her hair looks like it's fucking French Revolution era. I don't know. It looks really bad. I don't know what happened, so I did some little doodles. I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to draw, like, a St. Bernese or a St. Bernard or Bernese Mountain Dog or something like that. You know, that arena, because it's just like a big fluffy goofy dog, and Logan could have a little service dog. Anyway, This is a little doodle of Mac in his werewolf form. I mean, I don't know if his werewolf form is going to look like that, but that's what that is. I haven't fleshed out his werewolf form at all. Some really terrible doodles of Miku. I hate those, but I love this doodle. I think this doodle is really silly. Sometimes the shitpost doodles are the best ones. Most of the time. Most of the time the shitpost ones are the best ones. This just wasn't what I wanted it to be at all. So we're not even going to talk about it. I hate it. Some Meows Morales! This is the art I did for the ArtX review, like, properly, because the other art with the ArtX markers was me just testing them out, seeing what they're like. I love Meows Morales. And then I finally drew Sin without whitewashing him. So yay! Winning! Success! I put the little ArtX card in here because, you know, this was the marker review. It made sense. Give him his little freckles. He doesn't always have freckles because he's a shapeshifter. I can do whatever I want, and sometimes I don't feel like drawing freckles. Some random doodles. I didn't have any ideas that day, obviously. Oh yeah, I had 3 hours of sleep. That's what was happening. So, you know. And then a 3 marker challenge because it sounded like fun. So wow, there's so much of the sketchbook left and I'm getting really tired. Shit. Okay. Yeah, that's why this took me so freaking long. Okay. So I randomly selected 3 of the ArtX markers and did this little design. I think she's really cute. This is like her final look, and this is probably the dress that she would be in with some sandals. But look, she's so cute. I think she's probably a copy of some other design that I have in my subconscious, but I think she's cute. I like her. And then I drew my Spider Sona getting beat up, because sometimes you just gotta do that. I wanted to do like a full little comic. You're not gonna be able to tell what's going on because these are shitty little thumbnails of him being like beat up, like brink of death, beat up, because I thought that it would be fun. And then, you know, I'm not actually gonna do that because I don't do comics, but you know, so then I just drew him a little bloodied, since I won't be able to draw him super beat up. This was like something from water that my grandmother bought me because we were doing errands that day. I don't know, it was a sticker so I could put it in my sketchbook, so I did. And then some figure studies. I think I was mostly trying to do some gesture. This one came out pretty good in terms of trying to do gesture compared to how I normally do. So then I was like, okay, well, I should probably do some actual timed gestures. So that's what these were supposed to be. I'm really bad at doing gesture because I really struggle not to think about the forms, which is something I really have to work on. But yeah, a bunch of like line of action poses, I believe. And then I got really bored of doing that. So then I did some timed hands. The timed hands were fun. Until they weren't, but you know, I think these ones came out pretty good. I think these came out pretty good. This one's a bit of a mess, but I had fun doing those. I like drawing hands when I have a reference or I know what I'm doing. This was me waiting to pick my grandmother up from service, so I just did some random stuff with ArtX markers because they were very new to me at the time. I was using them a lot. I still like to use them. I used them for the cover of my new sketchbook, which there won't be a video about this time. I was like brink of an art block. I was like, I'm not recording this. I'm just gonna do this for fun. Yeah, but like some little doodles. And then this was me swatching the Crayola skin tone colored pencils. I impulse buy things when I am not feeling well. It's not a good habit. It's something I'm trying to work on. So then I had colored pencils. They were like $4, $5, so it wasn't a super big deal. That's not right. Oh. Apparently that is right. Okay. This was another video I did. I'm not going to talk about it too much because, you know, video. So I'll just put the thumbnail on screen. It was like a Discord challenge sort of thing that I did, or like a community challenge, I guess. Yeah, Star. I think it's cute. You can go watch that if you want to. Then we have a doodle of my Spider Sona with the skin tone set. I only used the skin tone set. They're Crayola, so they're a little, you know? But I had fun drawing him. I tried to get the skin tone to sort of match mine. It might be a little too light, but I don't know. Some dandy doodles. I think this one's fun. I like that one. And then this one's like meh, but this one's silly. Some cyanide doodles. I realized I hadn't drawn him like properly in a while. I don't know. I hadn't been drawing him nearly as much as I usually do. Sorry, I had to take my headphones off. I hadn't been drawing him nearly as much as I usually do, so I was like, okay, he deserves to be drawn a little bit. I did a little doodle of him yawning to fill space here, some random stuff. I think this one's fun. like very dramatic. It's not necessarily like anatomically correct or anything, and I redesigned him after this, so it's not super accurate right now, mostly in like the hooves and the tail, but you'll see. That sounded kind of threatening or something. Anyway, I bought a Spider-Man loofah. I can't, somebody should take my card away from me. And then I did some Meows Morales and a Spider-Man doodle, because you get it. This is a doodle I did in another art VC, because one of the members was on Magma, and on Magma there was a board where people were drawing orange juice. So then I did a really shitty drawing of orange juice, and then I put cyanide peeking out from behind the cup because I thought it was silly. And then this is when I got sent colored pencils, which I'm about to make a video about. So this is technically a spoiler for how that video is going to go. I am going to say I love these. I love these. I put this plastic here after because I didn't realize the colored pencil would blend so much onto the other page, and I wasn't sure if I could use hairspray on this because of the fact that I used several materials, but we'll look at that in a second. I don't remember what fruit, or an apple. I must have eaten an apple. Little doodle of my Sona, little blending test. Look at that. Oh, it's so much better than my Crayola pencils. And then obviously I did a drawing of Curly. Sometimes you just have to do a drawing of Curly. Sometimes you just have to do a drawing of Curly, you know? Oh yeah, my sister. When I showed this to my sister, she, so like at first I showed it to her and she was like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then like a while later, I was talking about my sketchbook and I was like, oh yeah, I never explained to you that this, because like she never watched gameplay and she shouldn't, and she should not because she's too young for it. But she, I was telling her that since she hadn't watched gameplay, she probably didn't know what this wheel was about because, you know, it's a part of the game and she never watched the gameplay. It's not something people really talk about much because it's, you know what I mean, you get it. And so she was like, oh yeah, no, and then I explained it to her and then she was like, yeah, I thought that was the Miguel O'Hara Spider-Man symbol. And I was like, you what? You thought that I decided I'm gonna draw the best crossover this century and I'm gonna do Curly from Mouthwashing with Miguel O'Hara from the Spider-Verse? What are we talking about? I don't know, it's really funny to me. It might sound really stupid, but I was laughing so hard for like 5 minutes. It was so funny to me. Anyway, Curly. This is not a Spider-Man symbol. This is one of the wheels from that part of the game when you have to turn the wheels. You get it, hopefully. I'm not going to talk about these too much because these are for the colored pencil video itself. But yes, I did these with those colored pencils. This one is shitty on purpose, by the way. I got really bored, so I made it like a little coloring book thing. Okay, anyway. These were the first doodles I did. I did these just to make sure I could draw Courage the Cowardly Dog. I love him! Courage the Cowardly Dog from the Courage the Cowardly Dog show! My favorite thing to do when something weird happens around me is to go, strange things happen in nowhere! Anyway, another one. I didn't really record this one very well for the video because I got really sick of drawing at my desk, but it's just, you know, like a little drawing of him from that one episode, and if you know it, you know it. I'm like lazy and bored and I'll probably talk about it in the video. Some random doodles that I did. I was messing with some pencils that I had. I didn't like these very much, then I moved on. I did this with the Artex markers and the Woomer colored pencils that I'll be making that video about. A random bug that I did with no reference, but I think turned out pretty okay. None of these had references. I think this one's fun. I like this one. I want to mess with this style more eventually. These came out really bad because I got lazy and I also didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't looking at a reference. And then this one's fine. You know, it's just like a little bug. Some more doodles of cyanide. This is when I realized I wanted to change his tail, because I didn't like his old tail very much. His old tail was very like lion or cow or something, and that doesn't make sense. He's meant to be part bat, part horse, and then his hooves were very like reindeer, which again just doesn't make sense. He's meant to be part bat, part horse. which I did come up with after designing him. Like, I designed him, had him for a long time, and then people started asking me, oh, what species is he? And I was like, So anyway, I'm trying to get him to look a little more accurate to the random things that I say. Anyway, this is me messing with that again. This one ended up being turned into an emote and into his little profile picture on Artfight because I think it's so silly. I'll put it on screen. I love that one. This one made him look like really like wistful, so didn't mean to do that. And I was messing with the shape of his legs. I decided to give him tiny little dainty legs because it suits him. It suits him. Yeah, you get it. A doodle of him with his skull mask that I don't draw him in as much anymore. Just some other random doodles, filling space, messing with his design. I was also messing with his eye because, again, like, he should have a little bit of facial paralysis. That's a pretty fucked up injury. I'm probably not gonna give him, like, full facial paralysis on that side because I don't want to, but I think it would be cool if he had a little bit, so I'm just messing with the idea of this eye being droopier. Really, it should be, like, closed most of the time, but what can I say? I like to draw it like this. This was the 3 marker challenge that I did. I did a video on that. I'll put the thumbnail on screen again. Rain adopted this design, so now it's owned by them. I have to do like a full body. I'll get around to it soon. But yes, this design is owned by Rain now, which is awesome. Thank you. I'm glad you liked them enough to adopt them. I think they're pretty neat, personally. I was never going to use them, so I'm really glad that somebody adopted them so that hopefully they can get some use, you know? Like, look, she's so silly. I love her. Okay, some random stuff that's also from that video that you will understand if you watch it. Let's see, we have some studies. It was meant to be figure studies, and then I was like, well, I might as well draw the clothes on top for some of these. And then these, I was waiting to pick up my father from work, and it was me and my sister and my father, and, you know, his coworkers, but we weren't necessarily talking to them very much. And so I was like, all right, sister, what should I don't refer to her as sister, but I try not to say her name online. I was like, what should I draw? And she's like, Bill Cipher. I was like, okay, I can do that. So I did a little Bill Cipher, and then I was like, okay, well, that was easy. What else should I draw? And then she just kept saying things I'd have to look up references for, and I was like, oh, I don't really want to look up references. And then she was like, oh, draw Riley. So then I drew Riley. That's my original character. And I was like, okay, what else? And then she basically turned it into a game with my father to say more and more niche characters that I'm obviously not going to be able to draw without looking up references. What did I just say? Until finally my father was like, okay, I'll spare you, draw Meows Morales. And I was like, thank you. And then my sister over here in my ear keeps going, oh, but you could also you could draw this character that you would have to look up. You could draw this character that and I was I'm gonna have to cut that out. I got too intense. I was like, ah! You get it. Anyway, little doodles of cyanide that I did after that, because I was like, I can't trust you guys. I'm just gonna do what I want. Okay. The plastic makes this really annoying. My filming isn't helping. Okay. I got out a blue highlighter, so then I drew blue characters. So we have blue. Obviously a blue character. I don't think that those spots are correct. I've started doing it from memory, and I'm pretty sure that these ones at the end of the ears are supposed to be the other way around. A little doodle of Miku. I think that one came out pretty cute. I like the way I drew the face. Doodle of my spider Sona beat up again. I don't know. I've been feeling like beating him up. I like to do that. Anyway, some plastic, because this could... Yeah, you can see like a little spot of it here because it can transfer on the other page. A skull that I did, I was pretty lazy about it, so, you know, nothing to write home about, but it was fun. It was probably like 30 minutes max. It feels like a lot longer than I spent on it, but I'm not good at telling time, so it's probably something like that. We have some drawings of Mac. I love this drawing of Mac. He's so silly. That's Mac right there. I haven't been able to draw them super accurately to how I see them in my head, but this is Mac. And then I was messing with trying to draw werewolves to try and figure out what he looks like, but these just, you can ignore them. But this one, however, I love this doodle. What the hell? It's so cute. I freaking love that one. And then I decided to draw some Casey. I tried to draw a motorcycle because he has a motorcycle, and I was like, oh, it's a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. And then I did this one first, and it's really bad. So then I did this one, which is pretty cute. That's not what his hair looks like. But it came out cute enough that that's fine. You know, maybe he just styled his hair that way for once, you know? Then we have, this was like, literally, I did this, I churned the page, I'd forgotten how to draw. So I got a little upset. I was like, what the hell? I hate when that happens. And then, I don't know. I don't really know what happened. I don't really remember. I think I just kept, my hand just kept drawing things. And so then you know, now there's a fucked up cyanide right after he got his eye injury that he received from his sister. In the lore, it's not on purpose. They're both really young, and she's a really powerful mage, and she's not being trained like she's supposed to, because she's way too powerful to not be in some sort of school or have some sort of mentor, and it ends in tragedy, which is why she needed to be, you know, it's almost like a law thing. But I like this doodle. It came out really good. I don't know how I got there. Anyway. Then I did some figures. This is when I started looking up dance videos online, or like on YouTube, so that I could just pause it and draw something. These are all pretty stiff. This one's not super stiff. This one came out decent. This is tap dancing. This is contemporary dance. This is tap dance. These are all break dance. Obviously I didn't choose super exciting poses. What I need to work on the most is like walking poses, which is why I mostly chose things where I could really like see the anatomy and how people's legs move when they're like walking or standing different. But then I got bored of doing that, which is why I ended up doing these. And then random doodle and random hand. I don't know. I didn't feel like drawing much that day. I got a new pen. I was not expecting this pen to at all be like what it is like. I'm excited to mess around with it. It's a brush pen. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's a Fudenosuke pen, like a Tombow Fudenosuke or something. It's fun. I didn't expect it to bleed through the page. It really threw me off. This is meant to be Levi. It does not look like Levi at all. This is my hand. I literally did one of these and then just threw the detail on top after. Somehow that ended up working out pretty good. I think it looks pretty decent, which I did not expect. And then the puppy, she lost a tooth, a little puppy tooth. It's so cute. It's so tiny. So then I drew her. There's little Yami. She looks a tiny bit younger here than she looks now, because this photo is from like maybe a couple weeks ago, a month ago. But I didn't want to take a new photo because I was already sat down with my art supplies out, so I just did this. So there's little Yami. She's so small. She's so goofy. A random doodle that I did. I made a sketchbook, and it's not the one I'm using next, but I made it because I wanted to. I felt like making something. So then there was leftover paper from making the cover, and so then I just threw it in here so I wouldn't feel like I was wasting it. And then this I did with that new Tombow Fudenosuke pen. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. If we ignore the face entirely, I think it came out decent. I like the stars behind it. The shapes are actually pretty shapy for me, but the face is really bad. And then some cyanide doodles. I went on Pinterest, so I was just looking at like really goofy doodles other people have done and then drawing cyanide as those. Like, you probably recognize this one. I fucked up the hand, like the hand's not touching the glasses, but ignore that. So I did a bunch of that. I thought it was fun, and it was. I like this one a lot, actually. Some more dance references. I don't remember what kind of dance this was. These are all the same person, so you can tell that my anatomy is a little fucked, because this does not look like the same. Like, it looks like they'd have to have different proportions than these. And then immediately, again, drew this, churned the page, it went to shit. I don't know why that happens. I'm not a fan of it. These were supposed to be ice skating poses. I didn't even get to the part where she was actually ice skating because I got mad. So I was just like, fuck! And then I did this. I'm gonna have to remember that I said that because I'm gonna have to change something in YouTube Studio. Lazy Spider-Man doodle. So, little guy. And then some little, I was getting really sick of drawing. This is the point when I started to really hate this, working in this sketchbook, because I had been working in it too long. You'll see, I get really edgy about it. So these are some shitty little alien doodles on a stick figure. It was funny to me. And then my good pen died. I ended up finding one like deep in like a drawer. I have another one, yay! But I was sad about it at the time. Because I thought I didn't have any backups. And then a doodle of sin. I just taped the whole pen in here. I was like, why not, you know? A nerd, apparently, that I drew. I don't know, I just drew a little guy. A bunch of circles. I was not happy at this point, and I could tell by the shape of the circles. Which probably sounds stupid. But if I'm like bored or not sure what to draw, I'll do actual circles and turn it into practice. This was me being like, get me out of here. Anyway, next page. Yeah. I wasn't happy that I was still working in this sketchbook. I was getting really sick of it. I was really upset about personal life things. And so then I was just like, oh my god. So I did some doodles of me being upset. It gave me an excuse to draw wings. I like drawing wings. These are a little fucked up, but that's fine. Doodle of somebody's face on scribbles that I like to do when I don't know what else to draw. A random doodle of sin. Let's see. These were with my left hand. So you might possibly recognize this because it's a popular, I feel like it's a pretty popular reference on Pinterest, but I was doing it from memory with my left hand, so it might be that nobody knows what this is at all. This is a little random doodle of Dandy with my left hand. What else? We have Bark. I can't remember, I don't know if this one was with my left hand or not. This one I might have just been drawing really shakily. This was supposed to be some doodles of Aaron, because when I first got Aaron, it helped me out a lot to get out of like my little art block that was starting to crop up. But this time it was not helping. Aaron is really, really cute though. I love that design. Yeah, so sick of this sketchbook. 3 months is too long for me. I think this doodle came out really funny though. I like the way I drew the teeth. I was not happy to be in this sketchbook anymore. I was so ready to be done. You can tell by all the wings I'm drawing. Yeah. I didn't want to work in it anymore. I like these fucked up wings that I drew because I was upset. I didn't want to work in it anymore. So done with this sketchbook, can you tell? And then, oh yeah, Yami had stepped in my sketchbook because I was helping my grandmother with some physical therapy things and it was on the floor and anyway. And so then I was like, oh, well, I might as well just scribble on the page. I wasn't upset that she stepped in the sketchbook. Normally it wouldn't have meant anything and I would have just kept drawing. It's because I just needed an excuse to be upset with the sketch. Yeah, this is when I got really upset. So I started cheating. Oops, we're skipping. We can't skip ahead, guys. I would never skip anything. Done with this sketch. I bet you can't guess what it says next. Book. I resorted to cheating. This is not the hand pose I meant to draw. It's just what I did draw, and then it was too late, so then I left it like that. Yeah. And then a shitty doodle of Rex, and then a left-hand doodle of Casey, which is also shitty because it was with my left hand, and then a left-hand doodle of Mac, which actually came out shockingly well. This actually still looks like Mac, pretty happy about that. A shitty left-hand drawing of Cade, which doesn't really look like Cade, but I've done worse. The one of Casey is definitely worse than this, so, you know. And then I did some blind contours because I just needed something else to draw, and then the next day is when I gave up. This is when I gave up, and this is like I started getting really edgy with what I was writing in here. It's really dramatic. I didn't want to work in it anymore. Okay, look at how many pages were left, and look at how done I am already. So I say this sketchbook is going on for way too freaking long. Finishing a sketchbook is like closing that small chapter of my life, and the longer this sketchbook lasts, the more the memories involved linger and weigh down on me. I was feeling dramatic. I can't remember if this is after I'd started Interview with a Vampire or before, but if it was after, then that definitely had something to do with it, because that show is crazy and it is very dramatic. And when I watch something, I'm just easily influenced, you know? Even though I can't actually remember anything, which only makes it more frustrating. True. You can't see it, but all my sketchbooks are slowly drenched in my never-ending fear. It sounds so stupid. It's not that I'm necessarily like lying or anything. Like, yeah, when I look through old sketchbooks, it starts to stress me out because I know that that there's like bad shit that happens while I'm working on it, and then I don't really want to work on it anymore. But that's just such a dramatic line. And I can feel that when I open them. So as soon as the fun of the new sketchbook wears off, it's a race to finish it before it sucks the life out of me. Which is almost true. If I don't finish it within a certain amount of time, I start to get really stressed and upset about it. But like, calm down, you know, you're fine. I've been so busy lately that the sketchbook has far exceeded the time limit. True. I was gonna do what I normally do and finish as many pages as possible per day until it's done. But looking at this sketchbook is making me feel sick, and I won't enjoy looking at it until I can say it's done. I was so tired of this sketchbook. Plus, once it's finished, I can laugh at myself for how edgy the end of this has gotten. Yeah. What the hell? Calm down. I've started to it started to remind me of my vent book from 2020, which is really funny, and that is really funny. That sketchbook is never gonna see the light of day. And another good reason to be done, because I actually don't love to remember the psych ward year. Which fair. I'm running out of stuff to write and it's making me nervous. I'm tempted to just do a freaking countdown, honestly, which you're never gonna believe what I end up doing. But obviously that would be considered cheating beyond what I've already stooped to, although this is so stupid. I'm so sorry. Although, if I hit rock bottom, you know what they say? Only one way to go, and that's up. Wow, I'm quirky. 30. That's not 20. I can't even count numbers. I was not happy to still be working in here. I don't know if you could tell. And so we got to a point where I literally just started writing numbers in here because I was never gonna finish it, and I just didn't want to look at it anymore. And if I left all the pages empty at the end, then it was gonna make me feel like shit. And like, even if I left them empty, I was never gonna come back to it. I have other sketchbooks that have more empty pages that would be more worth returning to. So I was just like, well, whatever, I'm just not gonna do this to myself anymore. I'm sick of it. I want to work on artfight prep and not have to think about it. I want to get the sketchbook tour done. So what if instead I just did this, 2, 1, and then I was finished. Oh, I was so happy to be finished. And then my little swatch pages where I'd like toss colors down to make sure my pens are working and everything. Oh, you don't understand how happy I was to be done. Look, finally done. Yay! I love some of the art in here, but I hate how long it took me. You know what I mean? I like to finish my sketchbooks in a month. I have another sketchbook that's this size, and I think what I'll probably do with it is either use it for videos or use it only for finished pieces and not see it as a sketchbook. Because, like, I loved how much space I had when I wanted to do something with a lot of space, but bro, it just took so long. Like, to be fair, I was also putting some pretty high effort into some of these, but I do that in all of my sketchbooks, and in the smaller sketchbook it doesn't take as long because it's smaller. Anyway, I hope you had fun seeing my edgy things once I started getting really upset with this sketchbook. I was really tired. I didn't want to look at it anymore. I was like, get me out of here. I don't want to do this anymore. And then I got myself out of there by counting down from 30 at the very end like a cheater. Oh, it's so stupid. But I hope you guys can laugh at it with me. That'll make it worth it. That's so dumb. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching the sketchbook tour. I'm sorry if the audio's terrible and for the shaky camera work. Doing my best. But yeah, I'll leave some videos in the description and everything. Consider joining my Discord server. My commissions are always open because, as you can see, I'm generally pretty hungry. And I shall see you all next time. Bye!